Your Excellency, the Chairperson of the African Union, Your Excellencies, colleagues, heads of state and government, Your Excellency, the Chairperson of the African Union Commission and Commissioners, Honorable Ministers, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. It is a privilege for me to join you this afternoon under a theme that directly addresses Africa's future, that is securing our health sovereignty. We're called to address the challenges Africa faces today. The truth is stark. External funding for healthcare and humanitarian assistance is declining rapidly. The US Congress in July cut $8 billion from the budget for US international assistance. US aid contracts worth $54 billion have been terminated. This is not peculiar to the US alone. The NATO allies and Europe, in order to meet the target of 5% of GDP spending for defense, are all making cuts to their overseas development assistance. If we do not take our health destiny into our own hands by shaping new strategies and partnerships, our citizens will be left without medicines, without vaccines, and without hope. And there will be a reversal in the health outcomes in Africa. The meeting of the Committee of Heads of States and Governments of the Africa CDC today is vital because as heads of state, the responsibility of leadership in protecting the health and lives of our citizens rests directly on our shoulders. We must step up to the plate and redirect resources to where they matter most. We must cut wasteful expenditure and channel funds to improving healthcare facilities, training more health professionals, producing our own medicines and our own vaccines. In Ghana, we're not just talking about sovereignty, we're working to make it real. We've passed the Ghana Medical Trust Fund Act, which is a bold new program that provides sustainable financing for people battling with non-communicable diseases. We've set up our National Vaccine Institute, backed with seed money of 75 million Ghana cedis, to make Ghana a hub for vaccine research and manufacturing for our sub-region. We're soon to roll out our free primary health care program so that essential care is available to everyone without cost, without barriers, and without delay. Just this year, we uncapped the National Health Insurance Levy to restore 33.5 billion cedis, that's about $300 million of health funding, which was previously swept into the Consolidated Fund for Consumption. These are practical steps that demonstrate that where there's political will, sovereignty is achievable. Just last month at the African Health Sovereignty Summit in Accra, we launched the Accra Compact and the Accra Reset Agenda. The Accra Reset Agenda aims to transform the global governance structure amidst the current global uncertainty. And the starting point for this transformation is in the health sector. Africa must not only be invited to global health discussions, Africa must be a co-convener, we must be a co-designer, and a co-owner of the solutions and outcomes of these global fora. Today's meeting of the Committee of Heads of State and Government of Africa CDC is a place to carry this vision forward. And so when we go to Gavi, the Global Fund, or the Pandemic Fund, we must go as one Africa, united, determined, and demanding fairness and equity. In my closing call, colleagues, let us move from words to action. As the world steps back, let Africa step forward. Let us invest in our people's health by investing in our health systems. Have historic relations from the time of our independence and the liberation struggle, and our countries have shared the same values of democracy, and we hold the same positions in international organizations, and so we treasure that relationship. We are happy to welcome you, and we hope that your stay will move the relations between Ghana and Kenya to a whole new level. The African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement gives us the opportunity to begin to improve the trade between our countries. And last year, we were privileged to receive the first shipment of Kenyan tea. And I am a person who loves Kenyan tea. Anytime I go to Kenya, I get Kericho, cartons of Kericho, and bring them back, and I keep drinking till they are finished. And so we got the first shipment of Kenyan tea. There are many products that are being registered under the ACFTA agreement. And I'm sure that once we have more goods, it will make it easier for us to exchange amongst ourselves. The major hurdle is the infrastructure, the transport infrastructure. Exchanging goods between African countries, sometimes the goods have to go to Europe before they are transshipped. And so we need to see how we can work together to create direct routes, trade routes amongst ourselves so that it makes it easier for trade. Ghana has a lot to learn from Kenya in terms of tourism, because you have developed your tourist industry to a great extent. We have a few national parks. They are nowhere near what you have in Kenya. And we don't have any of the big fives. The last lion we saw was about 50 years ago. And so during your stay, if we can develop some bilateral agreements so that we can have technical support from your very developed wildlife industry to train some of our wildlife people. And then aside from that, bring some of your people here to help us with conservation and anti-poaching. And so you're warmly welcome once again.
Thank you much, Your Excellency. Mine for your generosity for hosting us here and my delegation. And secondly, to emphasize on what you already said, that the relationships between Kenya and Ghana has been there for a long time, emanating from the time of President Kwame Nkrumah and our President Jomo Kenyatta. They laid a very strong foundation between our two nations. And basically, when you come, you meet a Ghanaian in Kenya or a Kenyan in Ghana, we all look the same. You would think that we are people of the same family, and want to build on that relationship and that background, and also noting that Kenya and Ghana have had very, very strong bilateral relations, and want even to build it even further, premised on the presence of African Continental Free Trade Area. And like I've said, infrastructure is a challenge, but it's not a major challenge with the strong people of your stature and the stature of our president. We are quite assured that our two nations will even move further. We look back during colonial era, and when Vasco da Gama was going around the world discovering various nations, infrastructure was not a barrier. So it's our duty to make sure that this infrastructure, we make it easier for us to trade. And by way of trading, we need to rely very much on what God has given and made available to us, the oceans, that we can do a lot of trade through the maritime, the way other nations have done and developed. And if we do so, we'll even move further. But the strength and the backbone of our relationship lies in the African Continental Free Trade Area, and we have to give it the necessary support so that it moves Africa and our trade to the next level. what is actually afflicting us is not social, it's not political, it is the economy. Our people want a strong economy so that we can move to the next level. And I stay here and to make it my duty that Kenya and Ghana will trade more so that we can create wealth and create employment for our youth who are now in the majority, and they are looking to us for guidance and opportunities so that we can guide them. And we can only guide them if we invest in infrastructure. So my duty and my tour of duty and my mission here will be hinged on emphasizing and developing the necessary infrastructure so that our two people can trade more effectively. And premised on that also, our president and yourself are very strong friends. And we're going to capitalize on that so that we make our two nations even stronger during your tenure and beyond. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll drink a toast. Why? You don't have.